And we're recording. Okay, so this is a brand new idea. This is an interview series, and it's all around stories, inspiration, and lessons, because we've all got stories in our own way. We're all inspiring, and all of us have certainly got lessons to share. So I'm joined today by a fellow coach and one of my favourite people. I've worked with Tim. I love his work. I love what he stands for. And his name was top of the list when I thought about, people to invite. So Tim, first of all, thanks for making this happen.
Thank you so much, Will. Thank you for the kind introduction. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Tim, we've known each other for just over a year, I think. And I worked with you beginning of last year. We had 3 fabulous months together. One of the biggest things that you taught me was this idea of creating. A lot of your coaching is the idea of, what would you want to create? What do you want to see happen? And this is really, really stuck with me. It's a question that I go back to myself, but it's also something that I now incorporate within my coaching. So yeah, I want to ask you, what's creation all about for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess for me personally, and I want to put out first that creation is something different for every one of us, and for me, creation is just it's all about play. I really, that's what one of my recent things that I'm dealing with in my personal life. I'm just trying to incorporate play in everything I'm doing, or come from the place of play, so that whatever I do, it doesn't really feel like work. It feels like something exciting. It feels like something is flourishing from this kind of childlike almost place. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, it's really important just to have fun in life, and creation for me, it's about having fun and having fun, and maybe sometimes in a productive way, so that you can have something at the end, or something along the journey, like a service or product or promotion or progress or whatever that is, or stagnation if you want that in life. But creation is it's basically play.
Yeah. Wow. So creation is about play. I really get that. And it's funny you said about, childhood, because when we're younger, we're all creating, we all have these imaginations, we're making forts, we're, pretending to be explorers. And I really feel that we lose that as we sort of go into adulthood. We stop playing and we stop creating, and we almost, we lose this sense of fun. You see this, so many adults just haven't got this. What would you say to someone who says that, work isn't about fun, work is just about, making money and paying the bills?
Yeah, I guess, first of all, I would love to respect that, because I think each of us has our own philosophy in life. And if that's their philosophy, that's okay. That's fine for me. But there are some people who come to me who want to change that. And that's where the work starts. But if people are deeply convinced in that, and deeply believe in that work is about serious things, is about making money, it's about all the stuff that brings in the pressure and uncertainty or whatever, that's okay. I have nothing against it, because this world wouldn't be the same if there wouldn't be so many different people. So if that's okay with people, if they feel happy with their approach to life, that's brilliant. If they're not happy with their approach to life, then I'll challenge them.
Yeah, I love that. So how would you, and you'll really get this, being a coach, especially being like a younger coach, like we both are, we have that question of, so what do you do? So what do you do? We're at a party, we're at a dinner with some new people, and they ask that question, what do you do? This is something that I've struggled with. I sort of explain and go, oh well, I sort of help people, and I'm getting better at it. How do you explain what you do?
That's a really good question. I think I always explain it in a different way. I also don't have like a certain pitch or something like that. But I just try to explain that that my work incorporates a lot of looking in the future, helping people to realize where they want to go, and helping them to get there and see some shortcuts on the way. Quite a few times, and it still does, my work incorporates some therapeutic work as well. And people are way more familiar with that aspect of it. And I feel like whenever I mention that I do some therapy with people, like just a session or two or whatever that is, they understand it more. But then I kind of try to extend it. Okay, so if you see beyond that, so therapy is from past to what's happening with people right now. We just prolong that in the future, and we try to look forward as well. So that's kind of the way I normally try to explain it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I get that. Because I think people, they sort of get coaching. I find that people mistake it more with mentoring. So they expect a coach to be someone who's, got all their shit together, knows the answers, and, one of these sort of guru types of people. And, to be fair, that's what I thought, our line of work was when I first got into it. A life coach had to have spent time in India, enlightened or whatever. But it's not about that. We know that. What would you say your biggest failure is? Your biggest failure, and from that, the biggest lesson.
There is so many of them. How can I pick the biggest? Oh, let me think. I mean, again, like, I would like to ask you, what do you mean by failure? What's the definition of failure for you?
Okay, so failure in the sense of a project or something that you've created which has flopped. So in the eyes of many people, wouldn't be considered a success.
Okay, cool. I have one. I'm not sure if it's the biggest one. They're probably the ones that go hand in hand with this one, but it happened 2 years ago. Yeah, actually 2 years ago in January 2015. I was at university in Scotland, in Aberdeen, and I was studying psychology. I was already into coaching. I really wanted to expand coaching. I wanted to help people. I was one of my modules I was studying was counseling as well. So I was learning this active listening skills and kind of basic elements to the coaching and kind of therapeutic conversation. And I felt like if I'm just studying that, nothing is really happening. So of course I wanted to do something. And I created this kind of little service called counseling. It was by donation, because I didn't want people to pay anything, but it was by donation. So you come in, you get counseled or coached, and if you feel like that brought any value to you, you pay some money for it. It was very simple. And of course, I decided to run that from my student room in the student halls. And it was a great idea, and I felt like I was so excited about it. I was preparing everything. I was telling my friends, my fellow students around, like what I'm doing, send people to me if somebody wants some support. And I got my first client already, and then I got a call from a university counseling manager, and she called me in her office. I felt like, oh, amazing. Maybe she has some like tips for me or something like that with regards to how to run that, everything. But it wasn't really like that. So I came into her office. She sat me down and she said, I've seen that you're doing this counseling thing. Like, what's happening? And I explained everything. And she said, look, that's not going to work. So you need to stop that. And it was the last thing that would ever cross my mind, that I cannot do that at university. And she said, because I don't have qualifications yet, because I didn't finish the studies yet, because I don't have professional insurance, I cannot do that. I cannot help people. And she said, so, and because I was so adamant that I don't stop that, that I want to continue it in a way, in a conversation with her, she said to me, okay, here are two options. You either stop now and everything is great, or you either don't stop and you pay £1,000 fee and you get expelled from university. And I was like, whoa.
It's a choice.
Yeah, that's a choice. And of course I stopped it. So that was one of the biggest failures, which actually really fired me up then to go to London, like in the summer, the same summer. I think it was half a year later I was in London. And that I do my business there, that I kind of try to help and coach people there, because I always knew at that point, I really knew, and I was really certain in myself that I had that in me. But if something was standing on my way, if they wanted to even penalize me for that, it wasn't the way for me to go. And, the reason that I couldn't understand why they wanted to do that, because within the UK, there's no regulations against coaching and counseling, so anyone can do that. So you cannot call yourself professional counselor. I think you need to have qualifications for that, but you can call yourself professional coach. You don't need any qualifications for that. So, and I kind of made sure that I phrased my service in a way that it wasn't against the rules, but it was still it was a big failure for me at the time. And after that, they actually made up a new rule at university, because I was the first person ever. I was studying at ancient university, so like 500 years old university, and they never had somebody who would try to attempt what I tried to attempt. So they made up a rule in the special counseling booklet that you cannot run your service on the student grounds before you study. And I was actually quite proud of that.
I was going to say, that's not a failure then, because something, that's it.
So yeah, that was one of the big failures. But I learned to kind of to embrace these failures and learn to recognize them as a part of the process, because they are. And it just helped me to learn faster. If I wouldn't start that service, I wouldn't get threatened by expelling from university. I wouldn't move to London. I wouldn't be going up so fast, and things would evolve in a different way. So everything happens with a reason. So that was definitely one of the reasons.
Yeah. I believe that. And I think, it must have been frustrating, because I know your intentions would have been completely, I want to help people.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's frustrating to be told you can't do that. Of course, there's reasons why, but still from emotional point of view, that's like, that doesn't quite sit. That takes some understanding. But I love what you say about failure just then, because, this is my philosophy, fucking up is actually a sign that we're getting things right, because we're in the game playing. And like you say, it's part of the process. So let's say there's somebody who has got this huge fear of failure, and I think on some level we've all got this fear, but to someone who's very aware of it, to someone who knows that, or really feels that this is the thing that's stopping them, what advice would you give to them, or any tips?
Oh, okay. Advice. I don't normally give advices to people. So, if somebody is afraid of failure, I don't know. Be afraid of failure. It's okay. It's a human experience. People are so afraid to go into these places of not feeling good emotions that's one of the very interesting phenomena I noticed. Maybe that's a little bit sideways, but I think it's really relevant to what you asked. We all essentially want to be happy, and majority of the people, or everyone, by definition, we don't want to be not happy. So We don't want to be sad. We don't want to be anxious. We don't want to be like afraid. And we avoid the state. So you can see this like a range of emotions. You have on the top, you feel really happy. At the bottom, you feel really low, really down. And we all want to be here, but we don't dare to go here. And I really believe that that's where the life experience happens, like human experience. And it's beautiful to experience both of them. It's beautiful to cry sometimes. It's beautiful to be manic sometimes. Why not? You know?
Yeah.
And I see, because people who are afraid of failure, they're so afraid of it that they stop at this point. But that also enables them to go up and to be happy. So I believe that sometimes it's important to go about life in kind of warriors kind of way, so that you dare to go into these dark, deep places, you know, like I'm afraid of that, like what's gonna happen, you know, and we don't even think that through. So what will actually happen if I screw it up? If everything goes wrong, what's gonna happen? And majority of people never think that through, because they're afraid to even think about that. And it's bizarre if you look at it as a concept, because nothing really happens if you just think about something. Of course, you create with your thoughts, you know, if you think about it a lot, it happens, and all this law of attraction kind of things. But I'm talking about the moment, about like a couple of minutes, just meditating on it and imagining it. And if someone is afraid of failure, be more afraid, you know, be a warrior. I would always say that to people. And yeah, I guess that would be my tip. That would be my answer. Because a lot of times when you start really looking at that scary thing through, you see it's not so scary actually.
Wow, that's a powerful answer. I knew it wouldn't be like a tip, like, oh, just, you know, I knew it wouldn't be some fluffy tip. I knew it would be that's beautiful, and it's right, you know. And I can relate to this. You know, we sort of shut ourselves off. We give ourselves permission to experience, you know, the certain ranges, and we seek this gratification to, you know, these quick wins to feel good. But yeah, you know, if we're alive, if we can't experience great pleasure if we're not willing to experience great pain. I think this is the thing. Just something yesterday, found out my grandma's dog died, and I grew up, and I've never cried over a pet. I've been one of these people who, you know, has probably laughed in the past at how can you get attached to a dog? And I sat and, you know, I got off the phone to my mum and I sobbed, and it was just, and I just allowed it. You know, my lip was quivering. I went into the kitchen, spoke to Yvonne. She's like, "What's up?" And I was, but afterwards, if you feel better, you feel better. I just allowed it. I wasn't fighting it. But yeah, you're right. You know, we shut ourselves off from these emotions. So no, that's a beautiful, really powerful answer. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And congratulations to you that you managed to express that. Actually, just in the end of 2016, like in the last couple of months, I was doing a lot of intense work with a therapist. So she helped me to deal with some of my own shit, with the really deep stuff. And one of the biggest things she taught me, her name is Sarah, she's amazing, and maybe she's listening this. One of the biggest things she taught me is that it's so vitally important to honor what you feel, to honor your emotions. And that is one of the biggest things I learned in my personal development, because we always try to, you know, a lot of times personal development teaches us how strategies or technique, how to run away from that, how to feel better, how to be in a peak state, how to just snap out of that. But we forget to honor that, because that's kind of, I don't even know how to explain that, but it's kind of like liberating feeling when you start honoring your emotions and your feelings, and you really be true to yourself. And that's one of the big things I learned. So, and I believe that's really important to honor what you feel. And you definitely honored what you felt yesterday, and that's brilliant, beautiful.
Thank you. A word that comes to mind is like surrender. It's surrender. Just listening to what you're saying there, it's just, this is how it is. In this moment, I'm feeling this, and that's okay. And I think there's this yeah, for me, it's almost like this underlying piece of just being really, really honest with yourself, really, really honest about how you're feeling.
Mm.
Because we can all act, we can all put on a front and pretend, oh, I'm all right, but yeah, it takes guts. But there's this underlying piece of just saying, no, this is how it is. This is the truth. Reminds me of a book, actually, Loving What Is by Byron Katie, which I'm listening to at the moment, along with 4 other books. But that's another conversation. Brilliant. She just, she really just talks about this. And just feel how you feel and don't judge it. And just, yeah, beautiful. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we've ever spoken about this, but I know that you used to be a professional cyclist.
True, correct.
Okay. I'd love to know, how did you get into that?
I started cycling at a very young age. I think I was 14, between 30. I think I was 14, yeah, when I started. I just seen one of my colleagues in the village. He rode past my house on a new shiny bike, and it seemed like super cool, super fast. And I was going to road cycling, so he had this road bike, tiny wheels. Everything seemed really cool. And I was doing some sports before that. I was doing football, basketball, handball, and then I dislocated my shoulder like a couple of times in a row when I was playing handball, and I couldn't throw the ball anymore normally. I was kind of in this stagnation period when I wasn't doing any competitive sport. But then I've seen cycling, and I've seen, I really want to try that. So I went for the first training. I called the coach. He said to me, come for the first training. And he seemed like very strict, very hard, like, you need to prove yourself, I felt intimidated, like, really much. When I came there for the first time, 13-year-old boy, he was like, now I'm going to put you on the track and we'll see what you can do. And I was quite good. I beat half of the guys, like with the normal, this kind of tracking bike, and they all had road bikes on a short circuit. So then he put me in the team very quickly, and then I started working. To become the best athlete I could be at the time, and then I became a part of national team. I think like 3 or 4 years later. And I started racing internationally. I won a couple of races, international ones as well. I had some good results in the World Cup. I was racing Worlds, European Championships, stuff like that. And it was a wonderful experience. I still love cycling. I'm still passionate about cycling, but more about watching it than actually doing it. It was a very painful experience at the time as well, at times as well. But it was a great experience, and I'm really happy I've done it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as a coach, with this experience that we have, even if it doesn't directly relate to to coaching or psychology, all our life experiences go towards who we are, go towards us as a coach. So I imagine, so much of your achievements from cycling, so much of, the mindset, I imagine, and, going through the pain that you just mentioned, all of that is us. We carry that with us, and that becomes us when we show up on a coaching call, and when we, listen and serve someone else.
Yeah, it is. And it's also, not only being a coach, being a person. I believe it's all the experiences just kind of come together at every point in life. And yeah, I learned a lot through kind of purposeful suffering, I would call that.
Suffering. Nice.
It was a brilliant experience, because it was basically, on the end of the day, it was a competition who can push themselves more. If you pushed yourself more, you trained better, you had better physique, and then you could do better in races. So of course there was a lot of technicalities and tactics behind it, but yeah, it was a good experience.
Awesome. And it's good that you're still, you're still watching it. It's good that you're still in touch with that part of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I'm always on it, especially the biggest races. I have quite a few of my friends racing on the top level in cycling. So I love to watch them. I love to see them on the TV. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's quite surreal. Quite
Yeah.
surreal. Awesome, awesome. So just to end, a couple of sort of different questions, light-hearted questions. Um, just to, yeah. So if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why? I love this question.
Um, the first one that comes to me is tiger.
Ah, okay.
Uh, because a tiger is like a big animal, like grounded animal. I see him, and also kind of a wise animal. And I would like to be like a tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah, I think I like, it's weird because people often talk about being a lion. This is in the personal development industry. It's all about being a lion. Don't follow the pack, be a leader. But
yeah.
I resonate with a tiger as well because they're independent. They've got this strength and actually much more powerful. I researched this. I put that question into Google: who would win in a fight between a tiger and a lion? And apparently, tigers, pound for pound, they're stronger, and they hunt alone.
And I like them because they look a little bit more aerodynamic, and from my cycling years, I like aerodynamic stuff.
Of course, yeah.
An aerodynamic animal, so yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And another fun question, what comes to mind? Um, what does your perfect day look like? Just, waking up, what would your absolute perfect day look like?
You're challenging me with these questions today. I love it. Um, my perfect day, different than any other perfect days I had before. I like variety. I like kind of surprises. So it would be different than any other day. It would be day full of unexpected outcomes, full of surprises, full of kind of new encounters. Yeah, kind of
Something,
very very spontaneous day.
yeah, that was the word I was thinking of, spontaneous, like new, fresh, exciting, something you'd never done before.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love this experience. Um, on just waking up and not knowing what's gonna happen through the day, and having some plans, but they can evolve like in completely different ways. So
Mm.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a key idea is just going with the flow, going with the flow. Yes, having outcomes, having things you want to achieve, but just being flexible in how to get there. Because life's going to happen. We've got this idea of this illusion of control. If
Mm.
I do this, I can control this. And actually, I think the world is chaos at times. And actually, it's just about embracing what is and going from there, being spontaneous and just living life.
Yeah,
Awesome.
brilliant. That's true.
Well, thank you so much for your time, my friend. And
Thank you, man.
absolutely, I'm going to add, pardon me, I'm going to add your sort of contact details. So yeah, if people can reach out to you to say thanks, and yeah, share with you their insights from your wonderful words today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for doing this great work in the world, and thank you for being you.
Oh, thank you, my man.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.